All right, so now we're moving on to part 2 of the procedure. Part 2 of the procedure involves mixing soluble solutions. So there are a total of 4 different solutions that we're going to be working with for part 2. Now, we are classifying our solutions as strong bases or non-strong bases. So that's all that we're doing. We're not classifying anything as an acid, a weak acid, a strong acid, anything like that. It's either a strong base or a non-strong base. We are going to be working with only 2 solutions that are non-strong bases, that are strong bases. They are potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Now, what we are going to do for this procedure is we are going to take another well plate and across or through samples A1 through A4, we're gonna put sodium hydroxide in there, okay? Now for B1 through B4, we're going to put potassium hydroxide in there. All that we're going to be doing is adding approximately maybe a half a milliliter to a milliliter of each solution in there. So A1 through 4, sodium hydroxide, B1 through 4, is potassium hydroxide. That's all that we're going to be doing with those. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer those solutions, and you can take a look at that right here. This is my sodium hydroxide that I'm adding. And then here's my potassium hydroxide that I'm adding. Now these 2 solutions, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, are both strong bases. Okay, so those 2 strong bases are going to be mixed with a series of other solutions. Now, what we are looking at and what we are trying to identify and trying to figure out basically is how do these 2 strong bases react with solutions that are non-strong bases. Okay. Now, we are in the procedure. It says you're going to have a total of 4 strong bases. We're only using 2. It also says that we are using a total of 4 non-strong bases. We are going to be using 4 non-strong bases. Those non-strong bases are potassium carbonate, nickel sulfate, copper chloride, copper sulfate. What we are doing is we are mixing each one of these different solutions with sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide respectively. Now I'm going to show you all that in just a moment. So